So Topham Hatt brought a new engine called 16, a cello tank engine. He was rude after he had a long time ago, but now he was less. He was still a bit rude. Not rude he is. Diesel's eyes went slowly towards the cello tank engine. His deeper voice came humidity. Hello there. What's your name? Not only one. I'm just 16. So you are 16. I thought you have a name. I don't have a name. Once all these here's at the steelworks, I have it on causing more trouble. Oh, don't tough enough, 16. I am as opposed to the strongest engine I tried, but I never try anything. You really be our strongest engine? Of course, my friend. You could do anything you want to be our strongest with the long cars, with the heavy irons. 16 had admired to agreed. Soon, 16 went to the yards and he cut a long line of freight cars. 16 leaves so quickly, he forgot about the yard manager. Stop! He yelled, but he was too late. 16 was already disappeared. Soon, 16 went to the countryside. Aha, I know I'll be so strong, said 16. He went over the top, and the next, he went down the hill. He couldn't stop, and his train was too heavy. And he came right off the tracks. So Topham Hatt wasn't too happy at all. 16. Why do you take so many cars without permission? 16 didn't say nothing. He looked down his buffers with his embarrassment. He shouldn't tell about the yard manager. But that's another story. My driver says about Sega, said Toby. What's Sega? Asked Thomas. It means a mosquito when bited on people's skin. Watch out for the mosquitoes, Thomas, said Percy. Pa, engines don't get Segas. Only for people. But Thomas spoke too soon until the next morning. Sir Topham Hatt came to see Thomas. Thomas, I want you to collect some children and take it to the fair. They had a school field trips. Yes, sir, said Thomas. But Thomas was concerned. He knew Percy was right, but he doesn't exist that way. Soon, Thomas pulling any clavo carried with happy children on the way to the fair. If Sega doesn't exist, he said to himself. But soon, many mosquitoes came from the ground and swarmed towards Thomas's face and bite him, but Thomas had to carry on all the way to the fair. The next morning, as Thomas's driver and fireman went to work, they saw Thomas's face. Percy and Toby started to laugh when Thomas woke up. What's going on? He said, confused. Take a look yourself, said Thomas's driver, and they showed the mirror. Thomas was shocked. That's my buffers. Many mosquitoes just stroked Thomas's face, and his face turned red with a rash. Toby and Percy couldn't help laughing. Percy spoke up. Well, Thomas, you know engines have a Sega, are you? But Thomas didn't say nothing. In most fact, you better go to the doctor, Thomas, said Thomas's driver. Thomas felt really silly about remarks about mosquitoes and Segas. One evening, Thomas, James, and Percy were idling at the yards, and they watching the sunset. My driver says Sir Topham Hatt has been on time always. Huh. What if Sir Topham Hatt won't be on time? He said always, without any confusion and delay. What might happen he's not come to Nafford if he arrives late? Well, he had to keep up in the management of time. But the rare secret that James was right. Sir Topham Hatt wasn't on his way. And today, something going to change. My smart new car, says Sir Topham Hatt, better than the old ones. But he wasn't the smart new car. As he traveled along the road, when suddenly, bother, said Sir Topham Hatt as he went out from the car. My car axles went damaged. How I get to Nafford now? May I help you, sir? Asked bus driver. Yes, please. Get me to Nafford Station where my office is. Certainly, sir. But it wasn't on its way again. The bus waited which the Topham Hatt couldn't hold much longer. That caused the bus axles when broken. "I'm sorry, sir." "Double bother," says the Topham Hatt. So Topham Hatt was most surprised. "My word, what a rusty, dirty car." "Are you making on your way to Nafford, sir?" said the man. "Yes, indeed." "Well, you could borrow that while I call for help." So Topham Hatt agreed, and they trade. But Sir Topham Hatt don't know how to drive the abandoned car until he slid into the creek. Triple bother. Then he saw James was taking on coal and water. Sir Topham Hatt run up. James had never seen Sir Topham Hatt got wet from the creek with mud. "May I help you, sir?" asked James' driver. "Yes, please. Get me to the Nafford station where my office is." "I could take it, sir," said James. So Topham Hatt was climbing on board, and James set off towards Nafford. So Topham Hatt said thank you for James, and he went to his office. Later that evening, James spoke to Thomas and Percy. So Topham Hatt always sometimes give me a lift. And so Topham Hatt needs always on time. And three engines look at the sunset, and they talking each other. One day, Toby was at the yard. He had been sitting here and do nothing, when he saw something. "What's that?" said Toby. "That's a jet engine. The jet engine goes forward and pushes hot air on his back, just like Thomas says." After Thomas had an incident by the jet engine, they had taken the jet engine back to the workshop. "I've never seen that jet engine before. Should I take them?" "Wait until Sir Topham Hatt. Here I am. Toby, you been collect the jet engine and take to the solar experiments, where it be tested by the jet engine." "Yes, sir." Toby was worried. He wanted to pull Henrietta instead. Soon, Toby was coupled up to the jet engine, and he set up to the experiment. Toby was waiting at the signal. He was still upset until Thomas arrived. He saw Toby with a jet engine. "Hello, Toby. And you got a jet engine, you see. I have a jet engine when I rocket through and overtaking Gordon with an express." "Yes, I heard that a long time ago, Thomas, but a jet engine is going really dangerous to me. It might rocket through and super fast." "You better be careful, Toby. Don't want to let the jet engine go off the rails." But Toby was still worried. He didn't see the bumpy track until it was too late, and the jet engine turns on. "Whoa, hang on!" Thomas could see the shocking sight. Toby and the jet engine flew off the tracks. The jet engine was caught on fire and under-repaired. Toby's crew having severe injuries and bruises, and Toby got few scrapes with his wheels and the cow catchers. Soon the breakdown crane was lifting Toby back onto the rails. So Topham Hatt came to see him. "Cheer up, Toby, it wasn't your fault. It was a carelessness workman. They supposed to fix the jet engine before you started off, but they didn't." I had some stern words and little chat at the workman. "You must go to the works to be mended, Toby. It will take a couple days or few." Toby felt upset. "What about Percy? Percy could handle with your work, and even Mavis." Toby felt depressed. He will never use a jet engine again unless he do so. "Thomas, I want to help Mavis at the quarry." "Yes, sir." "And by the way, Thomas, you'll need to collect some stones and take it to the harbor." "We will." "Hello, Mavis. So Topham Hatt sent me to help you at the quarry." "I guess you did. Need help?" "You could chunk cars at the quarry and working together." "Slow down, Thomas. There's a speed limit ahead." "Oh dear, Thomas, how you being derail yourself?" "It was those trucks pushing me into the speed limit sign." "Oh, don't worry. Just in a look in the bright side." One snowy morning, Thomas and Toby just heard a familiar sound. "Thomas and Toby, this is Hyperpodius. He's going to help us out at the quarry today, while Percy was away." "Hello. Hello to you, Toby. You and Hobius will work on the quarry until Percy will return. Yes, sir. Soon Toby and Hobius arrive at the quarry. I'm just glad I just came to the railway before. I never seen that branch line before. That's Thomas's branch line, said Toby. He says a private line of the branch lines are really smart. Prophodius sighed. I wish the railway has the branch lines. If you are. Otherwise, you will need some help if you get. I don't need help with your tram hotbox. And Hobius huffed away. Later, the snows began to fall. Epiphodius was taking the stone cars to the docks. Toby was worried. You had to be more careful. The snow will be caused dangerous. Who cares if dangerous anyway? Soon Epiphodius was on the way, but Epiphodius' driver knew. Be careful. But he wasn't listening. Then there was trouble. Epiphodius was tumbling off the tracks, tumbling down to the embankment. His guard went for help. Epiphodius sighed. I shouldn't listen to Toby for the warning. I'm sorry, Toby. I should ignore the warning. It's alright. Everyone makes mistakes. Can't be the snow manners. After 16 had the accident and sent home to a disgrace, so Topham Hatt borrowed Wilbert to help out Thomas's branch line. Thomas and Toby and Percy were very pleased at Wilbert. He knows he being returned. I'm such a good engine, Wilbert said. If I mostly, I can help you along your branch line. Well, I've been pulling passengers and goods trains too. Just like experiment engines. Well, at that point, Wilbert said, I had to pull passengers before, but I had a first accident with my passenger run at night. What happened? Well, it was a long time ago, Wilbert said as he told the story. Before I just came to Sodor, Wilbert, tonight I want you to pull passengers across the other railway to the mainland. That gave me really excited. So excited, I was not careful and paying attention for the warning. It was rainy and foggy night when I get ready for my first passenger train at midnight. Here we go, Wilbert. The black fog was so mist I couldn't see, and my driver said he had to keep going. I was keep focused on the tracks when suddenly the next morning, as the engine brought the breakdown crane, he saw the horrified sight. I, being derailed, slid down the embankment of the hill and lay my side. I was feeling battered and bruised and damaged. Some of my passengers were alright, but some of my passengers were injured. Cheer up, Wilbert. It wasn't your fault. It was a faulty bad rails. The farmer who heard the train accident, so he raised the alarm. And he called emergency and ambulance, people who could take to the hospital. However, to investigate who caused this accident, the worker discovered it was a pretty bad rails and twisted that caused the temperature of the rain, including the cold temperature. Soon I was returned back to the sheds after I was mended. I'm sorry about your accident. I wish I had to make some changes instead of pulling passengers. Well, you had to tell the manager what job want you to change instead of the passengers. After all, you're being different on the way away. The main line was closed for repairs, and I was pulling the light goods trains. It wasn't bother or boring for my jobs. It was later that evening when I was trying to rest, but the manager rushed off the news. Wilbert, wake up. You need to take passenger trains tonight. There's an urgent. The passenger tried to get home, but the bus had been broken down, so you had to take the passengers. I can't, sir. Why not? Because I don't want to cause any more accident with my passengers. Wilbert, when the main line was closed and repairs having trouble with tracks, You still had to get on your way to get your passengers safely. So don't be scared and don't be afraid. You could do it. So he made me feel better. Here we go. And so that's how I could pull passengers whatever I wanted, but I can do smooth and safe. Well, that was a fantastic story. I know. Sydney, the forgetful engine. He don't know what to do, but he had a friend Percy. Sometimes Sydney has many mistakes, such as the scapegoats and silly objects. For example now, really carefully. Oh, whoa. You passed the red signal. You red signal? Oh. Sorry, sir. I was very forgetful. Never mind, Sydney. Always look in the bright side. One day, Sir Topham Hatt came to see Thomas. Thomas, we're going to explore around the island. Yes, sir, replied Thomas. Soon, Thomas was pulling Annie and Clarabelle, and Sir Topham Hatt was on board with Annie. Thomas and Sir Topham Hatt were at disused route for a venture to be discovery. A disused junction, which is a part of the old abandoned tracks. It was a very long mile. As Thomas went to the very abandoned siding, and he parked and stopped. Then Topham Hatt stepped down from Annie. He went search into the woods. It was a long time, but Topham Hatt wouldn't give up. Soon they found the house and the buildings. Thomas was waiting and waiting, but Topham Hatt didn't come. "Is Topham Hatt will be okay?" said Thomas to Annie and Clarabelle. Meanwhile, Topham Hatt was still looking at these buildings. It was old and abandoned, kind of really rare. "This house had never seen this place," says Topham Hatt. He went inside, and he see was a disturbing sight. Two skeletons was sitting on the different chairs. A garbage, papers, and broken TVs and computers and technologies, and the statues. Most another discovered there was a sofa of a skeleton. Tractors, barns, and even causing discoveries when he's sawing. The death train of old machine and deadly car. Soon, Topham Hatt was returned to Thomas. "Anything found, sir?" said Thomas. "Thomas, I think I must be a rare discovery. This building and abandoned people were disrepaired. But we can mention that because the abandoned railway was so rare and so old, they might close down for many years. But it takes a lot of money to stand up the railway and restore it again. So that's what they prescribed. Thomas and Topham Hatt returned back to Nafford.